Play my intro. Now it's time for the Robb Johnson Sports Show, presented by Robb Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Robb Johnson Sports Show, presented by Robb Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Again, you saw that breaking news there. We have some breaking news here. According to NFL insider and aficionado Adam Schefter, and I'm reading verbatim, Commanders quarterback Jayden Daniels has a knee injury that has the status for Sunday's game versus the Raiders in question, per league sources. The injury is not believed to be serious, but it remains uncertain whether Daniels will be able to play on Sunday. Also, J.J. McCarthy has an ankle injury. Again, J.J. McCarthy has an ankle injury, and his status for Sunday, he will be out. Also, you look at Joe Burrow, who will be having surgery on that turf toe. Very significant injury if you are Joe Burrow. Again, this is Robb Johnson here at Robb Johnson Media, the Legacy Maker Sports Network. We have breaking news, and I'll bring you guys the stories once again. Again, that breaking news, J.J. McCarthy out on Sunday for the Minnesota Vikings. Also, we have quarterback Jayden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. You see, folks, I told people coming into the season, the Washington Commanders stayed relatively healthy last year. And a lot of times when you have a team that stays healthy, injuries start to pile up. This is not what you want to see from the Commanders, especially with a team that has the talent of the Commanders, especially a team that you are in a competitive division and in a very, very competitive conference. This is going to be critical. This is going to be something that's going to be very critical when you talk about the season going forward. Now, let's talk about what happened over this past weekend. We're not going to dive too deep, but let's go over some of the colleges, go over the NFL. Some of the local games. William & Mary lost to Virginia 55-16. Rutgers was defeated by Rutgers defeated Norfolk State 60-10. North Carolina continues to surge, beating Richmond 41-6. Some people thought it'd be an upset. Not so much. 49-12, the Miami Hurricanes defeat South Florida after South Florida upset the Florida Gators a week before. Florida's defense is good. They just cannot score. Let's go through some of the scores here. Number 4, Miami's number 4, but Oregon beat Northwestern 34-14. Baylor defeats Sanford 42-7. Nebraska beats Houston Christian 59-7. As Nebraska heads into their showdown with Michigan this upcoming Saturday at 3:30 p.m. on CBS. Can Nebraska take down the Michigan Wolverines, who won their game 63-3? It's going to be very difficult when you're talking about Bryce Underwood and trying to take down Bryce Underwood. But if Nebraska can win this game at home against the Michigan Wolverines, you can start to plant the seeds for Nebraska to do something. Alabama dominated Wisconsin 38-14. Georgia Tech with the upset, as I called it, on Clemson 24-21. Auburn beats South Alabama 31-15. Missouri takes out Louisiana. Raging Cajuns 52-10. Georgia, oh my Jesus. The Georgia Bulldogs come back a few times to defeat the Tennessee Volunteers by a score of 44-14. This was a back-and-forth game, guys. It was a great game, but in the end, the Georgia Bulldogs take them out. West Virginia takes down Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, who was previously undefeated, West Virginia takes them down in the backyard brawl, getting revenge for what happened years and years ago when they lost to them with Pat White and the crew when they should have been playing for the national championship. West Virginia was coming off a loss at Ohio. So this is a bad loss, absolutely bad loss for Pittsburgh. I cannot emphasize that enough, how much of a bad loss this is for Pittsburgh. But we'll move on. Penn State struggled very early against Villanova. I was worried about Penn State, but they recovered 52-6. Let's go through USC Very impressed by them going on the road, beating a 2-0 Purdue team. Now, if you're talking about USC, and I'll give you guys some insights. If USC if USC can take down Purdue, I will be doing a special interview with Jonathan Mathis, the sports judge himself, as we'll talk about USC. If they can beat Michigan State next week at 11 p.m. On the East Coast, 8 o'clock on the West Coast, the next week they'll be going up against top 10 Illinois. That game should be a big noon game. Should be the big noon game on Fox in about 2 weeks if they can take care of business. We'll have to see if they take care of business. Texas Tech continues to thrive. They win 45-14 over Oregon State. Iowa State beats Arkansas. Folks, if you did not see this Iowa State-Arkansas State game, the referees, I don't know if somebody's being paid. I'm just joking when I say this. I don't know if somebody's being paid. I don't know if somebody wanted Iowa State to win the football game, but some of the calls, Arkansas State scored about 2 or 3 times on one sequence, right? And they took the points off the board. You have to wonder to yourself sometimes, folks, just what do some of these teams have to do? Because you can call holding on every single play, but they decide to call it on some plays. So it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. Let's go down the rabbit hole a little bit more. The game that got a coach fired. ODU absolutely destroys Virginia Tech 45-26. Absolute beatdown at Virginia Tech. Gets their coach fired. He has a 16-24 record over his 4 years. We'll see now what the Hokies will do as far as going to find another coach. I have some guesses. I have some things that I have in mind of who they should hire. I think I said it last time on Drew Willingham's show when we were talking for the Total Football Talk. If the Pittsburgh Steelers season does not go the way Mike Tomlin wants it to go, and he needs a change of scenery, I could see Mike Tomlin at Virginia Tech. Why not? Have Mike Tomlin at Virginia Tech. I know he can recruit. I damn sure know Mike Tomlin can recruit the 757 area. You know, it would be like it would be a whole thing if he can recruit that 757 area to come to Virginia Tech. I definitely believe that would be a great pickup. Ohio State beats Ohio 37-9. This Ohio team is a pretty decent team, even though they are 1-2 on the year. They're one of those teams that fights. They scrap. I'm proud of how they fight. Ole Miss survives Arkansas 41-35. LSU beats Florida 20-10. Florida will be heading to the University of Miami this upcoming Saturday, where no mercy will be given because it's a rivalry and they don't care what the records are. Notre Dame gives it up late to Texas A&M 41-40. Notre Dame is still ranked in the top 25, but trust me, if Notre Dame continues to win and if USC can continue to play well and they can get a quality win over USC later in the season, trust me, Notre Dame will be right back into the mix. Trust me when I tell you that, folks. They will be right back in the mix. Vanderbilt beat South Carolina 31-7. Damn. I had them on upset alert. I told them. Utah beats Wyoming 31-6. Tulane beats Duke 34-7. Another blow to the ACC. As we go down the stretch here, Arizona State beats Texas State, but not in impressive fashion, 34-15. And Stanford finally wins a game. They beat Boston College 30-20. How the mighty have fallen. And Boston College wasn't even that great of a team last year, but you remember they won the Florida State won that game. They won a few other games. Now they're 1-2 on the season. It's just not a good look. Let's go to Sunday. And if you go back to Total Football Talk and get some of my talking points from last night. So I won't go too much into these games because, we're going to preview the Monday night games. So Dallas beat the Giants 40-37. The Rams lost. The Rams beat the Titans 33-19. Seahawks beat the Steelers 31-17. The Buffalo Bills beat the Jets 30-10. Tyrod Taylor had to come in for Justin Fields because he had a concussion, unfortunately for him. The Detroit Lions put belt to ass to the Chicago Bears 52-21. They said, hey, take that, Lions head coach. Take that. Former Ben Johnson, former offensive coordinator. They said, take that. We're sick and tired of hearing about what you did for us. Time to move on. Baltimore absolutely destroys the Browns 41-17. Even though Derrick Henry did not have a big game rushing, Lamar Jackson, 4 touchdowns through the air. including some good ones to DeAndre Hopkins. It makes you wonder, DeAndre Hopkins is making those catches now. Why didn't he work out in Kansas City? Makes you wonder, is Lamar Jackson really the better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes? Interesting. Well, we'll get to another day. 49ers beat the Saints 26-21. The Patriots beat the lonely Miami Dolphins 33-27. The Bengals win, even without Joe Burrow. Browning comes in. They beat the Jaguars. The Jaguars got some issues when it comes to Trevor Lawrence. Trust me when I tell you that. The Eagles defeat the Chiefs 2017, and the Atlanta Falcons absolutely decimate the Minnesota Vikings, who will be without J.J. McCarthy next week. And honestly, folks, is that a good thing that they're out with J.J. McCarthy? Because they will be starting Carson Wentz. I'm going to tell you guys now. I was thinking about this last night with that Kevin McConnell offense. I got a feeling, and I got to give all the credit to my guy Larry Patterson. He called the Daniel Jones stuff. He called it. And including, I forgot that game as well. The Colts beat the Broncos after leverage was called in that game, which was absolutely crazy. But the Broncos lose that game, and the Cardinals stay undefeated by beating the Carolina Panthers. But back to my point, if anybody can revive somebody, it is Kevin McConnell. He's got Carson Wentz coming in. Carson Wentz still has a strong arm. We'll see how that goes. Who knows? He could revive the Minnesota Vikings. We shall see, because I just don't know. So when we had a Sunday game, which I was shocked about, somebody actually asked me, did we have a Sunday college football game? Yes, we did. The Hawaii actually beat Portland State 23-3. Portland State is now 0-4 in the season, while Hawaii is 3-1 and getting closer and closer to being bowl eligible. Now, getting to today, ladies and gentlemen, at 7 p.m., we had two, not one, but two Monday Night Football games, and they're critical. If you are the Houston Texans, you have to win this game. If you don't win this game, you go to 0-2 and you fall 2 games behind the Indianapolis Colts. Even though you haven't played a division game yet, you cannot lose this game. The reason this game is critical for Tampa, yes, they beat Atlanta next week. They beat Atlanta last week, but Atlanta has proven now they have a field goal kicker. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers play the Jets. They play the Eagles. They're at the Seahawks. They play the 49ers and the Lions. That is all before they get to October 26th when they play the Saints. And you know, and anybody who knows the NFC South knows, it doesn't matter what the records are. When the Saints play the Buccaneers, it is war. So that's going to be a tough stretch. Then you play the Patriots. Then you're at the Bills. You're at the Rams, the Cardinals, the Saints, the Falcons, the Panthers, the Dolphins, and then the Panthers. That is a tough stretch for Tampa Bay. That's a tough stretch for Tampa Bay. You're the Houston Texans. You got to play the Jaguars next week. And you know as well as I know that is a rivalry. Those teams don't like each other. Then you play the Titans. Then you got to go to Baltimore. So at least you know you can possibly get 3 wins before you go to Baltimore and they smack you. And I think Houston is better. But I actually have them going deeper in the playoffs. But until they can go and play Baltimore and prove to me that they don't get smacked around, that's all I can believe is they're going to get smacked around. They have to prove it to me. Then you go and play, after your bye, you play the Seahawks, 49ers, the Broncos, the Jaguars, the Titans, the Bills, the Colts, the Chiefs, the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Colts. Folks, there is no easy games in the National Football League this year. There are no easy games. How do I see this game? I have the Houston Texans win this game, but barely. I'm going to give it to them, 30 – I think I gave Drew the scores last night, but I'll go back through it. I'll give it to him 23-20. Second game, we have an old, and I mean an old, AFC West rivalry. The Chargers, the Raiders. This game will define the Las Vegas Raiders season. I'm going to say it again. This game will define the Las Vegas Raiders season for one reason. If they can come into this game, if they can beat the Chargers, they take sole possession of first place in the AFC West. As I just mentioned, Jaden Daniels is questionable. Sunday at the Commanders. If Jaden Daniels doesn't play, this gives the Raiders their best chance to go into Washington and get that win. Who do they have after that on September 28th? The Chicago Bears. They'll beat the Bears in Vegas. Then what happens after that? In October, at the Colts versus the Titans. They'll beat the Titans. And then at Kansas City to finish up before their bye. And then they play the Jags, the Broncos, the Cowboys, the Browns, the Chargers, Broncos, Eagles, Texans, Giants, Chiefs. And they end with the Chiefs at home. Folks, again, this game is critical for the Raiders. If they can win tonight, they'll be undefeated going to the October 5th showdown. Yes, I said it. October 5th showdown with the Indianapolis Colts on the road. Who would have thought that before the season, that we could possibly be talking about a showdown with the Raiders and the Colts? That's why this league is one of the greatest leagues in the world, folks. That's why it's one of the greatest leagues in the world. I'm telling you now. So I have Texans, I have Raiders. All right. Let's go to Thursday. Let's pick these games again. We picked them last night. We'll pick them again. And hopefully I remember all my picks, because last night was a long night. Dolphins, Bills. I got Bills by $1 billion. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be really ugly. It ain't going to be pretty. Raiders, Commanders. I've got Raiders. Cowboys, Bears, Cowboys. Colts against Tennessee. I got Tennessee in this game. Do I think that Tennessee will win? No. But do I think they have a chance? Yes. Because the Colts, for some reason, when they go to Tennessee or go to Jacksonville, crazy things happen. So I have to go off history here. But if the Colts can go into Tennessee and beat that team and kind of defeat a curse, got something. Patriots, Steelers, I got Patriots. Jets, Buccaneers, Buccaneers. Rams, Eagles, I got the Rams, but barely. I think they can go into Philly and win that game, but if Philly wins that game, it's going to be enough stopping them. Panthers, Falcons, I got Falcons. Bengals, Vikings, the game of the two hurt quarterbacks, Browning versus Wentz. We'll give it to Minnesota. Houston, Jacksonville, Houston. Browns, Packers, give it to the Packers. Broncos, Chargers, I'm going to give it to – it's hard. I can't remember what my pick was last night, but I'm going to give it to the Broncos. Saints, Seahawks, I'm going to give it to the Seahawks. 49ers, Cardinals, give it to the Cardinals. Chiefs, Giants, I'm going to pick the Giants. Until Kansas City can prove to me they can protect their quarterback, I think that the Chiefs secondary is vulnerable to big plays. And it wouldn't shock me on a Sunday night, big game, 0-2, two 0-2 teams, that the Kansas City Chiefs get that game. Next Monday night, oh my gosh. Oh my Jesus. Woo! Lions, Ravens. Baltimore. I gotta pick Baltimore. I got Baltimore. So let's go back to, that's the NFL. Let's go back to Saturday night. Canelo against Bud Crawford. 12 rounds. Bud Crawford wins the fight. When people say that this fight brought boxing back, boxing has already been here, folks. Boxing has already been here. The thing is that people have to understand that, yes, Bud is not the ultimate draw like Canelo is. He doesn't have the pizzazz. He doesn't have the fanfare in a lot of ways. What's going on, Steven? Steven Askins. How you doing, brother? Yeah, too many injuries. Wow. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you too, bro. You're right, man. Way too many injuries. Way too many injuries. And he's talking about the Commanders, talking about a lot of teams right now who are dealing with injuries. Definitely something that we have to keep looking at when it comes to the NFL in this NFL season. Canelo, he took his punches, man. Canelo's a tough son of a gun. I believe this is his third loss. First one was the Mayweather. He lost to Triple G in that trilogy, which was absolutely amazing. And then you're talking about this loss to Bud Foster, to Bud Crawford. And I'm telling you, man, Bud has to have another fight. And I'm sitting here watching the fight with my peoples, and I'm like, listen, this has to be a part two to this fight. It has to be a part two to this fight. We got to see this fight again. And I wouldn't mind seeing a trilogy to this thing. We got a lot of good boxing matches going to be coming up here soon. Title's going to be on the line. Hoping heavyweight division can get its act together. But, man, that was an absolute spectacle on Saturday night. If you were blessed enough to be in the arena, God bless you, man. If you were lucky enough to be able to sit at home or be on your phone and watch it on Netflix, you witnessed a generational fight. And you see Max Kellerman after the fight, he can barely keep his emotions. You know, I've been very critical of Max Kellerman, but one thing I'll say, that man loves his boxing. He loves his boxing. And, man, that was one hell of a fight on Saturday night. The jabs, the counters, just everything, the strikes. It was one of those fights that will be remembered for a long time. It'll be remembered forever. And I feel like we were lucky enough to see that boxing match. And hey, man, if you're a boxing fan, you cannot complain. You know, everybody can talk about the Jake Pauls of the world and all this and all that. Look, man, we know those are exhibitions, things like that. But that just shows you how great boxing is. Boxing is one of those sports. I don't care if you're doing an exhibition. I don't care if you're coming in just to do it for the money. You got to be in shape. You got to fight. You got to be able to have the stamina. You got to be able to have a work ethic about you. Boxing is just different. UFC, I'm not dissing the UFC, but there ain't nothing like boxing on a Saturday night. There ain't nothing. Nothing like boxing on a Saturday night. That's what it is. Let's go to college football. This week's games. Rice against Charlotte. Let's see the records here. I got Rice winning this game to go to 3-1 on the season. Let's go to Friday. Let's see if we have any Friday games. Yes, we got Tulsa at Oklahoma. Tulsa 1-2, Oklahoma 1-1. I think Oklahoma can get this. I think Oklahoma should get this, and if they don't, then Gundy's going to be in a lot of trouble. Rutgers against Iowa. Iowa is 2-1. Rutgers is 3-0. I see Rutgers going 3-0 in this contest. On Saturday, we have VMI, Virginia Military Institute, 1-2 against the 1-2 Richmond Spiders. I got the Richmond Spiders. Sacred Heart against against Norfolk State. I've got Norfolk State in this game, the 4 p.m. slot. I have them winning this game. No, actually, I got Sacred Heart. They're 2-1. I think they can take down Norfolk State. William & Mary against Charleston Southern. I'm going to give it to William & Mary. Charleston Southern is 0-3. They better win this game. William & Mary better win this game. Miami against Florida. I don't give a damn if Florida's sucking right now. I still got to give the top 10. I still got to give the upset alert because you never know with Florida and Miami.
You have been warned. There is nowhere to run.
Texas Tech against Utah. I don't see an upset here. Well, no, actually, I do see an upset. I see Texas Tech upsetting Utah. I don't need to even play the music for this because they're only separated by a little bit of a ranking. So I'll give it to Texas Tech over Utah in Utah. Let's see here. Maryland, Wisconsin. I have Wisconsin bouncing back and beating Maryland. Well, no. Can Maryland upset them at Wisconsin? I'll give it to Wisconsin. Syracuse, Clemson. Dicey game for Clemson. I'm going to give the 1-2 against Syracuse. I'm going to do it, folks. I'm going to do it. Dabo might not have a job after this game.
You have been warned. There is nowhere to run.
Wofford against Virginia Tech. They better not lose no damn Wofford. I got Virginia Tech 14-3 over Wofford. They better not lose no damn Wofford. Tennessee, UAB, Tennessee. Oregon State against Oregon. The Silver War. Oregon State's 0-3. Oregon's gonna take these guys out. Purdue against Notre Dame. Notre Dame. James Madison against Liberty. I'll give it to James Madison. Florida State will destroy Kent State. Tulane will lose to Ole Miss. Oklahoma against Auburn should be a marquee game. Do I see an upset here? No, I got Oklahoma. North Carolina goes to UCF. UCF is 2-0. North Carolina is 2-1. This will be a Fox game at 3. I'll give it to North Carolina. I think they can win this game. Georgia Tech Temple, will they slip up any? No, I give it to Tech. Let's see, go through some more of the games. Let's see. Missouri against South Carolina. Can South Carolina bounce back? No, I gotta give it to Missouri. Let's see here. Virginia against Stanford. I'll give it to Virginia. No upsets here. Illinois goes to Indiana in a marquee game on NBC at 7:30. Do I see Indiana getting the upset? No. I'll give it to Illinois. Is an upset? Is it a possible upset alert? Possibly, but nah. Georgia State against Vanderbilt, number 20. I'll give it to Vanderbilt. Southeast Louisiana against LSU. LSU wins this game. Texas against Sam Houston. I'll give it to Texas. There should be no upset there. Colorado goes against Wyoming. I'll give it to Colorado, even though they're 1-2. Even though they're 1-2, they play some tough competition. USC, Michigan State. I'll give it to USC. Let's see. Do we have a Sunday college football game? Because usually last week we did. Let's see if we have another one this week. I doubt if we do. We do have one. We got Fresno State against Hawaii, and that is a midnight game for some odd reason. 3-1 against 3-1. I'll give that to. I give it to Hawaii. They're at home. They should win that. They should win that football game. They should win that football game at midnight on Sunday. Let's go back through yesterday. Let's see here. So much to get to in sports, folks. So much to get to. We're going to go to the WNBA real quick, and we'll tell you who won, who lost, blah, blah, blah. All right. Let's go back to, yesterday was the 14th. The Minnesota Lynx beat the Golden State Valkyrie 101-72. You had the Dream beat the Indiana Fever 80-68. The New York Liberty beat the Phoenix Mercury, but of course, Breanna Stewart got hurt, unfortunately. The Las Vegas Aces destroyed the Seattle Storm by a score of 102 to 102-77. That is now 16 straight games for the Aces. 16 straight since they lost that game to Minnesota. We could be on a possible collision course for Minnesota and Vegas, and that would be absolutely terrific. The next game is on Tuesday. Atlanta Dream at Indiana Fever and the Las Vegas Aces at the Seattle Storm. We will see how those two games go. Those could be the determining factors in those series being over. So, yeah. Now, let's go to baseball. We're not going to go through the scores from yesterday, but what we're going to do is we're going to go to the standings. We'll go to the standings real quick, and let's talk the standings. So, in the American League, the Blue Jays now lead the Yankees by 4 games, 5.5 over the Red Sox. The Tigers lead the Central over the Cleveland Guardians, 6.5 games. Now, the Guardians have won 9 out of their last 10 games, and they've won 4 in a row. So they are really streaking at this point. Maybe a little too late, but they're streaking. The Seattle Mariners have a full game lead over the Houston Astros. Very important. The Astros are trying to get back into this thing. The Seattle Mariners have won 9 out of their last 10 games. 9 straight games they've won. They are on fire. Mr. Raleigh is the MVP of the AL. If Kyle Raleigh is not excuse my language, if he is not the MVP, what the hell are we doing? It better not go to no Aaron Judge. That's all I know. He is the MVP. The Philadelphia Phillies have clinched the NL East. They are now 12 games up on the New York Mets. What the hell is going on with the Mets? They're 77-73, but they're a team. If they get in, you got to watch them. The Brewers, 5.5 up on the Cubs. They've clinched the division. And the LA Dodgers are 2.5 up on the Padres, 9 up on the San Francisco Giants. Yeah. Now we're going to get to the wild cards, which is even crazier. The 3 wild cards, you have the Cubs, who are in full control, the Padres, who are in full control, the Mets, who are not in full control. The Giants are 1.5 back. The Diamondbacks are 2 back, and the Reds are 2.5 back. The Cardinals are 4 back, and the Marlins are 7 back, which is still amazing that they're even still in the race. The Braves are still in the race. Hell, 10.5 back. They're not coming back. AL, Blue Jays, Tigers, and Mariners. I'm sorry, those are your division leaders. In your wild cards, you have the Yankees who are 2.5 up, the Red Sox who are 1 up, and the Houston Astros who are in 3rd place. Who is behind them? The Texas Rangers 2 back, the Guardians 2.5, and the Royals were 6 back. I personally don't know if the Mets and the Astros can hold on to this lead, but you're looking at a Texas Rangers team who won 7 out of the last 10, and they're right behind them. The Rangers are hot. The Rangers are hot. The Giants are 5-5 in their last 10. They got to get themselves together. The Reds are have lost 4 out of their last 10. They don't know whether they want to be in the playoffs or not. The Reds have got to get themselves some pitching and another bat going to next year. The MLB playoffs are going to be very interesting. You're going to have them going up against the WNBA. I'm sorry to WNBA, but right now, baseball is on fire. Baseball is very intriguing right now. It is going to be a very crazy MLB playoffs. That's all I got to say about that one, man. It's going to be interesting. So, if you're in the National League and American League, just know it doesn't matter what your record is, doesn't matter how good you think you are. Man, it's going to be a great season coming up. It's going to be a great season coming up. So, yeah. Let's see here, folks. Also in October, upcoming. No, not even October. Is it October? Yeah, coming up in October 3rd, we start having preseason basketball. So basketball is also right on the way. And remember, we got the NBA on NBC coming back. Man, what else can you ask for? It's going to be just an exciting upcoming season when it comes to basketball. We got the NHL coming back. We got a lot of things going, folks. It's going to be very, very important to stay up on top of all your sports. And you can find it right here on the Rob Johnson Sports Show and the Legacy Maker Sports Network. But if that's everything, I think that's everything that's been covered. I had to get through a quick show with you guys today. Tomorrow we'll recap the Monday Night Football games and what happened. Folks, this has been the Rob Johnson Sports Show, episode 103. Glad you guys watched. I'll see you next time.
Was caught in the crossfire.